Hi, I'm Carolyn Lovewell.
And I'm Laila Matthews.
And you are listening to the Sleepover podcast. So, wow, guys, it's been a while. It's August, early August 2025 now. Our last episode was in January. I think when I was in Tulum with Rye and River and a bunch of other awesome folks. We recorded an episode, but...
we've been on hiatus. We took a rest year from leading Sleepover Mystery School, let it really percolate and ripen. But we're heading into a new year of Sleepover Mystery School. 2026 cohort will start in January. So we're like back on our sleepover rhythm, you know?
Yes, here we are, back on the sleepover rhythm. And I think, interestingly... we came up with Sleepover Mystery School while I was separated from David.
Yes.
And then this summer, David and I, big announcement, everybody, you're hearing it here first, we decided to get a divorce.
A real divorce.
A real grown-up divorce. And obviously there's a lot that's been, very heartbreaking and sad about that, but I'm really in touch with the beauty and the perfection of it also.
Exactly.
And I feel like it's tying into what you and I wanted to talk about today, which is the Witchcraft to Jesus pipeline.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I have vividly experienced. I could tell a little bit of my own story with that. It directly pertains to my relationship with David.
Sure. Well, maybe, can I say something more general about it? And then we'll hear your personal testimony about it, Carolyn.
Sure.
Well, I just think it's so interesting. I guess I've been seeing in the collective consciousness this 2016, there was the big witchcraft magic. Everybody's reconnecting with astrology and the tarot and ritual and the moon and their blood and all of that. And now I see a lot of those people being like, well, I have to give that all up and turn to Jesus, which makes me laugh because what I have found through the working of deep magic and taking deep magic very seriously and working in the Western esoteric tradition of magic is that you just naturally arrive there. It's not as though they're in some like devil and God, like evil versus good. It's not like they're in some opposition to one another. It's that the beating heart of the magical tradition of our culture is the mystery of the incarnate God, man, person in reality, who is I want to say perfected, but in the way that Laila Matthews means perfected, which is like whole and complete. Flawed, complete. Exactly. A complete, alive, awake heart who is in love with reality is what you find when you do magic for real, for real. And that is also what Christ signifies in, the deepest Gnostic mystic tradition of Christianity. So, yeah, we all end up there. We all, all the paths lead to the top of the mountain. And at the top of the mountain is your buddy Jesus, who was you the whole time, doing witchcraft. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, Layla.
I think
I sure know what you mean.
We'll keep talking about it.
Yeah, well, so I am a strong believer in that desire evolves through fulfillment. And, I think when I talk about my witchcraft, the kind of witchcraft I was doing wasn't necessarily the kind that anybody would approve of. It was really like the sort of like, how do I say, really like based in power over another's will.
And acquisitiveness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I...
straight up greed magic, Carolyn.
1,000%. And I was just in it, and I knew as I was doing it, this is like back in the day of like 2016.
Yeah.
I knew as I was doing some of this stuff, I was like, wow, I don't have any ethical justification for this. This is not in alignment with spiritual principles. This is, but I also felt a calling. I also felt there was an alchemical thing in like,
yes,
this is my sin. I am a sinner.
Yes.
I need to go into my sin. If I restrain myself from my sin, on my own pride, on the force of my own pride, nothing's going to move. Nothing's going to happen.
Exactly.
And I knew that there was something in just going into it that would be more alchemically...
Surrendering, Carolyn. Literally surrendering.
To my debased drives.
Yeah.
That would take me ultimately to a better place. And I have found that to be true. So the way that I'm weaving this in today is like at the time when David and I were courting, and by the way, David and I are friends, we're good, I have much love and respect and gratitude for him, and I've told this story, parts of this story before, but like I was obsessed with this guy, this other dude, and I was like doing all sorts of really intense like hoodoo, voodoo, astral, like Anton LaVey, what is that book that he has, like the Witch's Guide to Satanism? I don't know. He has the Witchcraft handbook. I was doing everything. I was throwing everything I had at like getting this guy to fall to his knees and confess love for me. Yep. And friends, it completely worked. Completely 1000% worked. And David was...
he was your magician's assistant.
He was my magician's assistant. He was there cheering me on for the whole demented operation. And finally, when this guy who I had, manipulated via witchcraft into confessing love for me realized the extent of how insane I was and what I had done and everything, he wanted nothing to do with me. Like any sane person who was grossed out, as one should be, as was the appropriate response.
Yeah.
And then, David and I were hanging out, and I was like, hey,
you're into all this weird shit. You're not grossed out by this. You're into it with me.
Yeah, let's get together. And so, so our whole relationship ensued, and much creativity and 2 gorgeous children and much learning and growth and a whole sort of very deep, fertile things came out of it. But David and I always had a really contentious relationship and a power struggle relationship, unsurprisingly, given that we're both maniacally into power magic. Who knew? Who would have thunk? So anyways, what I'm trying to say is...
You know what? Can I just say really quick,
Please,
Carolyn?
go ahead.
I love how super candid you are being right now about your power magic ways. Especially because it's making me think of, the people who have written the expository essays about how you are a power monster. And I just am like, yes. Exactly. Hear it from the horse's mouth herself right now. That is true. And it's not wrong. I just am really appreciating. I'm really appreciating it's really teaching me again and again the lesson of, shadow can only hurt us when we don't want to look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
So you and David.
So me and David.
In this power struggle.
We have a lot of power struggle. And, if you want, so first thing, if you're on like a beginner's witchcraft forum and like you lay out your plan to do this kind of evil magic on somebody is sure to say to you, hey, don't you know that has karmic repercussions? Right. Like if you do...
The old monkey's paw.
Yeah, the old monkey's paw. If you do this kind of magic, you're going to end up having suffering. Well, friends, turns out that's totally true in this sense.
And we're not even saying don't do it.
And I'm not even saying don't do it. I'm so happy that I did it. I have reaped so many rewards. I feel like I've gotten to a place, like, how do I say? Like, you know what it reminds me of? Is when I hear Damien Eccles, who's a genius. I love Damien Eccles. When Damien Eccles talks about how him getting sentenced to solitary confinement was actually was actually a good karmic fruition for him, because it meant that he had to, draw upon his inner resources and get like really hardcore in his theurgy practice and basically become a monk in there to survive the terrible environment of prison. Yeah. Well, I feel like that with my marriage that's concluding, not that it was as terrible as solitary confinement, but that it was the correct karma that I needed to deeply learn, not learn on a surface level, not learn as like somebody else's ethical precept.
Right, not as a law.
Not as some external law, but like deeply learn the futility of trying to have, power or control over another human being. Because the power that I was trying to have over David was like, I think maybe a lot of women try this at some point, but like, trying to fix something about their partner's personality. Like, oh, this would be great if only I could just, rearrange something here, which is demented, and nobody deserves to be treated like that. David didn't deserve to be treated like that, but, whatever, our mutual stuff fit together. And so that's what I was, trying to do. I was trying to have power over his healing, his life, his situation. And it made me vulnerable to a lot of, unpleasantness that I was like continually volunteering for, because I was continually trying to have this power, like Anyways. And so like we've talked about 12-step stuff before, and I find myself here again being like really at the first step place of like admitting that I'm powerless over my addiction and my life has become unmanageable.
Yeah.
And realizing that, it's really okay. I don't have to, but I guess, how am I trying to say this? Not only have I realized that I don't need to play those games anymore, but I've also, there's just so much about mine and David's relationship that was absolutely perfect and fated and beautiful, including the fact that in trying to resolve our issues, we discovered the Dr. Roberts work, which connected so many other people to Dr. Robert, and led to me, I'll just speak for myself, led to me personally, like truly healing the thing within me that felt so scared that basically with my villain origin story, like my all villains have some terrible thing that happens to them that makes them feel like I need this power in order to be okay in the world.
Right.
So my villain origin wound got healed.
Right.
Through the Dr. Roberts stuff. And which I only, anyways, it all...
Which in its essence, Dr. Roberts' teaching is like all great teachings. And he employs some like surgical tools to help people get at this, but it's like the comprehension of total innocence and like the lovability of all things. Mm-hmm. And so when you like remove the wounding that prevents you from relaxing into that, then that is the healing of all trauma. That is the healing of all pain and wound and then we were talking about the Witchcraft to Jesus pipeline.
Yes.
Then when you are perceiving the innocence and having the love, well, then who are you like? You know what I mean?
The J-Man. You're like him.
Who do you become? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's where you end up.
It is.
Yeah, well, and I guess I just think this is so refreshing, Carolyn, and I just want all of our listeners to appreciate that, like,
that they should really do whatever fucked up voodoo shit they want to do.
Yeah, that's why in the Laila, it's do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. And you can't listen, like you said, you couldn't ever learn the futility of the demonic control pattern without fully attempting to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's really no way around that. Mm-hmm. And so, and this really mirrors a conversation that I had with a guy, who was interviewing for Sleepover Mystery School, who's so excited to join us and said, this is the program I've been looking for my whole life, because he's like, you guys get that like, there's no amount of like denying the actual real urge that you have. You won't exhaust the urge until you do it.
You don't really know better until you know better.
You don't know better until you know better. And the only way to know better is by actually doing it, experiencing it, reaping the consequences, having the human experience.
The road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, it's not as though you can just jump... You just really can't jump to the wisdom because it's not embodied. and you become like afraid of doing things wrong.
And that afraid of doing things wrong vibration is so lame.
It's not the same as like really deeply knowing in your heart what is right.
You know what's also funny?
What?
Can I also tell this?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was like working the whole power over kind of dynamic of magic. And one time, a couple years ago, I was at a Dr. Roberts retreat, and I actually had a dream that I received a letter in the mail from the Nietzsche Institute. And it was letting me know that my membership had been rejected and canceled because I had been demonstrating myself to be more devoted to the altruistic well-being of all creatures than I was concerned solely with power over them. Wow. And that I had been revoked and I was no longer the chairman of the Nietzsche Power Institute. And anyways, I guess what that dream reminded me of was just how it was like, obviously, like at that retreat, that class, something was healing in me. Yes. Something was moving, something was being resolved. And that I would not have gotten there if I had just never decided, if I had just been like afraid to do the fucked up magic.
Yeah, no, it's not the same.
I just like wouldn't have.
It's not the same. Well, and I feel like this ties into, the thing that we are going to host on the 12th of August is this riding the beast idea, this Babylonian understanding of what it means to come into loving union with reality.
Yes.
Because
we should let them know. It's an event. We're doing an online event.
You're doing
on August 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to send out emails about it, so make sure you're on the email list. You can go to the Immortal College website to join the email list.
Yeah.
But so what we're doing is this event that is a distillation of actually the entire essence of our work, because, Laila and Lucy and I have been talking a lot, and we don't like holding anything back. We just want to give the whole essence.
Yeah.
And we give it in various forms, and this is one of the forms that we're giving it forth, because basically, it's like some people are going to feel it and they're going to be like, oh, that's it. I'm complete. Everything I need is right here. And I'm going to, and some people are going to feel it. They're going to come to the Riding the Beast and they're going to be like, wow,
I need more of this.
I need more of this. Sign me up for Sleepover Mystery School, or sign me up for one of the online containers. And anyways, it's just a good way to get a dose of the true. And
true.
I just wanted to give them the context so they knew what the flip we were talking about.
Yeah, well, I feel like we've been talking about it, is like, you don't, so the Babylon riding the beast is, of course, an image from the final book of the Bible, which is all, part of what we're talking about, this witchcraft to Jesus pipeline. And it's this image of, the wanton whore of Babylon in total, loving, ecstatic union with the great many-headed beast that I think would arise in most people terror. And, the beast is the symbol of like our evil urges, our power urges, the, apparent frightening things in the world.
I think it's
violence.
It's like what St. Paul called the god of this world.
Yeah,
like when like pessimistic Gnostics are talking about the evil demiurge.
Exactly.
They're talking about this guy.
The temptation, the like horror of this world, which I think, is part of the power over magic and the desire to control. For sure.
All of the crazy Saturnian magic being done by all the banks and like the sex trafficking rings and the warmongers, and for sure.
Yeah, and it's all the things that, the uninitiated heart really wants to like vehemently hate and destroy about the awful things that other people do, and all the, the urge to destroy evil.
A little bit quieter because we're in a playground. It just occurred to me we're talking pretty loudly.
Oh, sorry. I can't help but talk loud.
I know.
So anyway, it's all that. And, this image of the great, beautiful, ecstatic, amazing Babylon riding the beast is this, amazing dream vision brought forth from the wisdom of the collective self that's like showing us how do we basically awaken our hearts and not live in fear or like subjugation to this, but like aliven ourselves within it. Am I making sense, Carolyn? Anyway, so this distillation, this thing that we want to share. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, how do we enliven ourselves within it? And something that I've been meditating on a lot, which I just think is really fun, is that, well, in Revelation, there's 3 feminine figures.
Yes.
There's the Queen of Heaven, there's Babylon riding the beast, and there's the New Jerusalem, the bride of Christ. And conventional Christians consider the Queen of Heaven and the New Jerusalem to be really good. Really, really, really good. But Babylon is really, really, really bad. And it's just quite obvious to me, I guess, with my weird tantrika background and just with education in literature and poetry, that they are the three faces of the same figure. There's no way that they are not the same figure. And I've really been reflecting upon Babylon and the Queen of Heaven and the New Jerusalem as images of the anima mundi. So interestingly, in the Chaldean oracles, which was this like channeled poem that was like a really big deal for like Mediterranean mystery religion, for like Platonism, Neoplatonism, they were always quoting the Chaldean oracles. That's where the idea of the Trinity comes from in Christianity. They had a Trinity, and their Trinity was the Father, the Son, and Hecate.
Okay.
That's what the Trinity in the Chaldean oracles is. It's the Father, and then it's the Son, the Logos, and then it's the anima mundi, the soul of the world, who the Chaldean oracles called Hecate. And it's just, I really feel like the Queen of Heaven, Babylon, and the New Jerusalem are also the anima mundi. They're the soul of the world, which is also the soul of humanity, because we are the,
self-reflective, self-aware receivers of
Gaia. We're Gaia's little, clay pentagrams that crawl all over her, and
apprehend ourselves at
and so the soul of the world is the soul of humanity. And I believe that we've been talking about how the visions of St. John in the book of Revelation, especially the visions of these feminine figures, are so beautiful, so archetypally dense and rich and symbolically, alchemically rich. I guess I could go on and on and on about this, but I really feel like it's crazy to me how little this has been realized.
No, right, exactly. Nobody has looked at that dream that John had for the collective and really understood it. And it's just like a dream where like the dreamer can be afraid of what they're seeing, but what they're seeing is always like a healing image that they need to receive. And I feel like John he was afraid of the healing that he saw, because John was very obsessed with the goodness, the purity, the lamb. And so when he saw the beast and, the whore of Babylon riding the beast, he was like, oh my God, my ego cannot make sense of this. That is so frightening for my ego. And I feel like what we have understood in our wanton magic path and like really working it and being with it and being like present to what comes out of it, and the revelation that comes out of it is we're like, we can see what John saw without the offense to the ego.
Yes, and it's beautiful. And what I guess one way I have of understanding it is that the anima mundi, when she allows herself to be fully fertilized by the great beast, by the god of this world, by the all-father Pan, all of duality, she conceives the Logos. She conceives Christ, the Logos and the Telos. She conceives and gives birth to this new, consciously realized God self, incarnate God self. And that is what it's like in every individual human soul that reaches Christ consciousness, that reaches self-realization. And that's what, ultimately I do believe that the visions of St. John were about the collective awakening of humanity. So I believe that they're images of the collective drama and fertilization and gestation and birth that needs to happen. And part of what I so much love about the image of Babylon riding the beast is that, yes, it's implied that she's in sexual union with the beast, and the wine of her fornications is in the cup, in the grail, which also contains the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, aka Jesus, because who's the first martyr of Jesus? But
the wine of her fornications is
the blood of Jesus.
There is no difference.
The wine of her sexual union with the beast is the blood of Jesus, because she creates Jesus. She creates the Christ by
making love
to the beast. And the simple way of saying it, the simple folktale, fairy tale way of saying it, is that when beauty loves the beast, he turns into the prince.
Exactly. And we all know that.
Watch a Disney movie. They'll tell you.
Yeah.
With little singing clocks and everything, because it's just true.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess, what I think is just so delightful is that you can come and take our word for it, but also, we've had experience over the last, 10 years now of, starting from the place of greed magic and riding it all the way to its beautiful, inevitable conclusion.
Greed magic, which is fear magic, which is
right.
like being lost in the belly of the beast in a way.
It's like trying to slay the beast,
yes.
or try to put a collar on the beast,
yes.
or try to avoid the beast, or anything other than meeting the beast with total love. But when you try to control the beast or vanquish the beast or, chain the beast or something like that, you fail every single time. And so then your, dogged, insane attempt to do magic brings you to a place of creativity where you come to realize, like, wow, the only thing that I haven't tried yet is being completely in love with this beast, exactly as it is.
Exactly.
And then it becomes your delightful bedfellow,
Yes, and then Christmas happens because the Christ is born within, and every day is Christmas. Yeah. And that's how I've been feeling. I'm like, wow, it's Christmas again? How
delightful. Every day is a holiday.
Every day it's Christmas.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's what we are doing. So obviously you can listen to us talk about it here, and I'll be sending out emails about it. And also, if you want a deep vibrational transmission, ritual experience, hypnotic induction, profound live transmission, I hope that you decide to come and join us at Riding the Beast. I believe that the entry price is $77, and it's an initiation into this vibrational energy, which, we have many other ways of helping people deepen into and unfold and release and realize in their lives, but we'll be doing as much as can be done in 2 hours to give the fullness of this transmission.
Exactly.
On August 12th, Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Yes. Thank you. You're so on top of it, Carolyn. I'm over here just thinking about how I just really want all of our beloved listeners to understand that, I don't know, in no way are these paths at odds.
Jesus and witchcraft. And they're not at odds at all. And you know what's so funny? I mean, obviously there's a lot that's funny about it, but when I hang out at churches, I like to hang out at either, super crazy trad-cath churches or Pentecostal churches, both of which are witchy AF. The hands-on healing and the calling in the Holy Spirit and the people talking in tongues and falling over.
Yeah, and the the mass, the ritual of mass with the little altar and the blood and it's all just witchy.
Yes, so it's always been the same all along, and I think we've just all grown up enough now that we can just admit that to ourselves and be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's not...
And it's weird when people are like, oh, I have to denounce drinking my menstrual blood. And
yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Like, don't you know? Like, it's like, listen, have some respect for what got you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like, what, you're just going to stop paying attention to the moon cycles because you love Jesus now? Why? What sense does that make? I really feel very confident in my, call it Christian Hermeticism, in that, you know, you could say that all of the other gods are like the different little colors of the rainbow, the different colors of the prism.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's the one white light, the way, the truth, and the life that, you know, the prism divides into these different colors.
Yeah.
That doesn't make the little individual parts of the prism wrong or bad.
Exactly.
It just makes them parts of the whole.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel great about doing planetary magic and
going for what you actually want.
Going for what I want, doing all of that stuff. And loving Jesus.
Yeah, because that's like it's the authentic entrance point. It's the entrance point of like no shame, no like second guessing. It's just like surrendering to yourself where you're at, going for what you want right now, and then knowing that will evolve.
It will evolve. Things that what I need for my evolution will come to me through being in alignment with my will the best that I can. My will, what I learned, so like, I feel like I've learned, anyways, I'm stumbling a bit because what I'm trying to communicate is very vast and non-dual, but I've just learned a whole lot about what my true will is and about what it actually takes to inhabit it and communicate it, and you know, it's not what I thought it was, and that's completely appropriate because we're always penetrating more deeply into the mystery. Something very beautiful that I learned from David about the deeper, you know, we can make the unconscious conscious, but we can never make the whole of the unconscious conscious. Like, there always has to be more to the unknown, more to the mystery. You can't kill the mystery by conquering it entirely, which is what our insane culture has tried to do with all the, you know, framing, materialist, extracting, exploiting, like we're going to figure out how everything works and control it. And just like, and it turns out you just can't, because there's always something that exceeds your ken. Yeah. And that's great.
Yeah. More will be revealed. Yeah, I'm excited about this event, Carolyn. It's going to be really fun. And I'm just, you know, I'm just delighted because, what am I trying to say here? I just want everyone to have their freaky bedroom relationship with the indwelling God. You know, I just want everyone to find out who their real lover is. And I'm just so happy that there's so many ways in. I don't know. I just feel excited.
It's great. So if you're excited about this too, come join us at Riding the Beast on August 12th, 2025. And stay tuned for more sleepover episodes. We're back in the swing of a new season. Laila and I plan on doing multiple episodes per month. We have plenty of far out things to say. So keep tuning in, friends.
Yeah. See you soon.
Bye-bye.